So, on this next exciting episode of An Independent Perspective, we have once again Fani Willis and Nathan Wade catching the eye of media, and the relationship is back under a microscope. You know, the one she said she didn't have during the Trump trial, which we all know she did. It started long before the case began, and it's continued. They never stopped. It's apparent, and the relationship's fine. It doesn't even matter now. Like, it's irrelevant as far as present day, but unfortunately, lying on the stand, especially, anybody, because you swear in, you're under oath, but especially if you're a DA, no, that's horrible. And Can't go without being checked and the proper repercussions. But before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe down below, like and share, leave comments. I love the interaction. Let's keep this channel growing. So without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, obviously there's no issue that as far as them being a couple. Anybody's free to do that. Obviously, they're free to have whatever relationship they've got going on now, because neither one of them are on the case. They're not working on a case together, especially even though Miss Willis does profess in one of her interviews that, as far as ethics goes, misappropriation of funds, sleeping with staff members and stuff like that. Clearly, it's obvious that she lied as far as the nature of the relationship and when it started and how long it lasted. Just like her saying that, all the expenditures on their trips, she was reimbursing Mr. Wade with straight cash, because her father had always taught her to keep cash on her, which is a good practice. It's not anything you can't contest that, but the likelihood of that being the reality is silly. I do not believe she's being fully honest. And now you see them here once again interacting as a couple would. Granted, you don't see any PDA, obviously. There's no public displays of affection. If they're going on trips together still, that's what the main focus and issues were the last time, of the money that they were just funneling through Mr. Wade and his expenses that he was charging for in excess of people who had actually been attorneys longer and had served on in cases such as the one that they had against Trump, the RICO case, that he had never been on before in his small time court appearances. And yeah, there's too much. There's too much. And this is the problem that I constantly point out about the Democratic Party and anyone on that side. Not anyone. I can't really say that's too bold of a statement. Most on that side, especially in the limelight, as these people are, they're constantly lying. They're constantly they're just being hypocritical, and it's horrible. It's horribly damning for them. I've spoken in another video. I miss the days of when debates and campaigns and stuff were their commercials they put on TV, were the smear campaigns they had against each other, were about policies. Very little was ever brought out that was something that pertained to the personal lives. They would smear them, obviously. They would bring things up. But that's what it is now, primarily. That's all that it is smear, 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 name call, name call, name call. Both sides are doing it. Donald Trump, I can honestly say, really kicked that off. with the name calling and everything. And I mean, name calling's name calling. You know, I'm Gen X, so we don't. Who cares? Like, who cares? Who cares about name calling? Like, nobody cares. But in certain circles, there is a certain level of decorum that is expected and should be. And this right here, she definitely doesn't follow that. She's not following. Neither is Mr. Wade. So Fani and Nathan have most assuredly abused their positions, and of course, now I don't see the point of why it really matters. Honestly, it doesn't. They're not on a case together, but it fortifies the BS they were spouting before. It's pretty bad.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so,
when did the romantic relationship between the two of you start?
Yeah, so, we get into, there's been this effort to.
So this right here, this is what I was talking about. This is where it goes off the rails for him, and his handlers are like, It's the fact that they even aired. I'm shocked that CNN aired this. Like, I'm very shocked they aired this when they did, because it was very damning for Fani and Nathan. Extremely damning and damaging. It's just, oh my gosh.
Say that, okay, these exact dates are at issue, and these exact dates are I'm getting signaled here.
Can I go off the mic for a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, keep rolling. Don't stop down there. Stay at speed.
Now, if their torrid love affair wasn't enough to cause them issues, Fani Willis has violated the Open Records Act and has been ordered to pay a substantial fine.
We are following some breaking news tonight at 6 as a judge has now ordered Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to pay more than $54,000 for violating the Open Records Act. Zach Merchant with our 11 Alive political team broke the story. And Zach, you just got a copy of that court order. What have you learned here?
We did. We just got a hold of this Fulton County Superior Court order just in the last roughly 15 to 20 minutes. In it, Judge Rachel Krause rules that DA Fani Willis violated the State Open Records Act by failing to turn over documents requested by defense attorney Ashley Merchant. The judge wrote that the defendants, the Fulton County DA's office, were openly hostile to Merchant and failed to handle her requests in good faith. Merchant had sought a copy of confidentiality agreements signed by DA's office employees, as well as a list of attorneys hired by DA Willis. Judge Krause today gave the district attorney 30 days to pay Merchant $54,000 in attorney's fees and to turn over those requested files. Spokespeople for the DA's office did not immediately return requests for comment.
You know, my intention is not to ridicule or hammer or browbeat about Miss Willis or Mr. Wade and how they conduct themselves. Their private lives are theirs, with the exception of the fact that if it violates any laws, which it doesn't now, apparently, because they're no longer on a case together. But this is an issue with morality, which, I mean, it's the pot calling the kettle black, the preacher, preaching to the choir, between these two political parties, because you've got one pretending to be the party of virtuous social justice endeavors. The other one's about the party for the little people in this country, and both sides just have so many hands in the cookie jar that it's hard to keep count. So it results in situations such as these, where you have people who are expected to meet a certain criteria because of the positions they hold and the services they're supposed to give to us as a public servant, and they're failing miserably. And that's the crux of all of this. As it is so deep seated on both sides. That's why politically there's no way I can choose a side. There's no way I could definitively choose Democrat or Republican, because neither one of them are 100% in transparency or in their connectedness to us, to the ones that they're supposed to serve. And Miss Willis and Mr. Wade they're just an example of a laundry list of public officials and people in Congress and the Senate, the White House, the last administration and present, that they have forgotten. They've forgotten their place. They have forgotten their place and what they're supposed to be doing. And that is the reason why I make these videos, because I think both sides need to be called out, and everyone is just hammering Trump, and a lot of people are of course he's Trump, but both sides are in a horrible shape. And the Democrats just keep going further and further in the hole. They cannot help themselves. They cannot help themselves. They're pushing the wrong agendas. They're pushing the wrong narratives, and you end up with more Fani Willis's and more Nathan Wade's and even worse. So they need to right the ship. Both houses need to right the ship and get us back on track. I can't say that they don't try. Either side doesn't try, because they do put forth some efforts. Now, whether their methodology is correct or not, that's always the questionable aspect of it. And yeah, here we go with Fani Willis and Nathan Wade in public's eye once again. Hope they like it. Hope it gets them plenty of clicks. And hope you guys have enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, share, and please subscribe. And thank you.